Greg Edwards, who is our county executive, born in my great-grandfather's house in Panama, I might add, and he's doing a great job out there, and we'll have him on one of these days. Greg has set up a special day for us for Channel 5. He's honored us with a great honor, and I want to turn this over to John, who will read it to you. Here you go.
Good morning, everyone, and it's my pleasure to be able to read this proclamation from Greg Edwards. It says here, whereas public access television is a form of non-commercial mass media where individuals can create content television programming, which is cablecast through cable television, and whereas it was created by the Federal Communications Commission between 1969 and 1971, and a lot of ands and whereases. Whereas Access Channel 5 is a public access television program in Chautauqua County, which began its operations in 1995 at the old railroad depot in Mayville and has since then relocated to Chautauqua Lake Central School. And whereas Access Channel 5 serves nearly 5,300 homes in Chautauqua, Mayville, North Harmony, Portland, Ripley, Sherman, and Westfield, and whereas it is staffed by volunteers who provide important coverage of local sports and special events who focus on important issues in our area by holding weekly reports featuring special guests from across the county. Now, therefore, I, Fred Crosscutt, Chautauqua County Legislature Chairman, and I, Gregory J. Edwards, who was born in Reed Powers' grandfather's house, great-grandfather's house, I got the wrong grand in there, Chautauqua County Executive, do hereby proclaim September 4th through September 10th, 2011 as Public Access Television Week. Read, that's us, in Chautauqua County, and encourage all residents to watch Access Channel 5 this week and congratulate its many volunteers for helping it reach 16 years of serving our community. In witness whereof we have hereto set our hands and blah, 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 blah. Wonderful, congratulations.
Well, so congratulate all the other people. Yeah. That has little to do with me.
For all the folks in the studio, Jeff and Chris and Randy.
Yeah. And especially I want to congratulate Chris and Jeff. Right. They've just done a wonderful job here for years and years and years, as long as history. I was the first one here, but that was years ago too. I'm so darned old, it doesn't matter, John.
I know.
But anyway, especially I do want to thank the people that have made this operate well. Chuck Kelsey, who really founded it, started it, did the work. Devin Taylor, who's always there. Chris Burt, Randy Burt. The Burts are just a fundamental part of this programming. Chris Ramaker, who does a lot of work for us. Jeff Zook, who has taken over as our full-time engineer now and just doing a fantastic job. And he's
a magician.
He's a magician for sure. And he's taken over for Chris partly, and he's doing two people's job. And I want to thank you, John, because you're a good part of the show, and you'll be taking over. You're doing a hat trick next.
I'm doing a hat trick.
You're going to have 3 shows in a row.
That's right.
And I can't forget some of the great other people. Don Zen, what a job you're doing, Don, and I thank you very much for coming. He's a new firefighter.
Yep.
And he's doing the job there, and he is our chief cameraman here. He and Randy, who are doing wonderful work. All right, enough of that. Go on, you're on.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Morning, Leslie. Welcome back, and hello to your dad. I thought I'd just mention a couple things that kind of came about this week, Reed. Oh, good. We've been talking about, contacting our congressmen and various politicians, and this week it was like serendipitous. At Rotary, we had the opportunity to listen to Brian Higgins, and I spoke with him myself, and I found him very personable, very approachable. And there was a couple of things I took away from his talk at Rotary, and a couple of things that I did not know about congressmen. And one of the things, Reed, he talked about was, which I see it all the time in the paper, but I didn't realize this was what the situation was. Congressmen do not get federal health insurance. He buys his own. And if they want the federal program, they have to pay it for themselves, just like everybody else. So that was a myth that he took care of for us. One of the things that he did point out, and I found this very interesting, he said that we could save as a nation billions of dollars if one mandate in government in Washington changed where they would allow the government to negotiate with the pharmaceutical companies. But presently, you can't do that, or we can't do that the way legislation is written.
You know why the legislation was written that way? Because
Do tell, I don't know.
The chairman of that legislative committee wrote it for the drug companies, and guess what? He quickly resigned, took all his money with him, and became the president of a large pharmaceutical company.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Well, anyways, Brian is onto this, and he was pointing out that he's working with his caucus to look at that, and they're going to try to change that sort of thing. What I'm doing here is I'm reporting what I heard. What I also heard him say was that, it's time we stop trying to rebuild other countries, and that we need to come back home and rebuild our own. The infrastructure, the roads, the streets, the schools, are taking care of our senior citizens and so on. So that's what I heard, and we're going to hopefully, folks, get him on our program. Reed and I are working diligently to do that so that you have an opportunity to ask questions or at least hear what our congressman is doing in Washington. The other piece, and I know this is going to have something to do with Leslie's talk, is that I mentioned that I've been approached by some folks over at the Chautauqua County home, and that there's concern from the folks there of what's going to happen. They're 98 years old, they're 90 years old, and they're watching all this going on. We necessarily can't stop what they're going to do because maybe it's a good thing of selling the county home. I don't know. But I'm pleading with you, I'm asking you, please track this in the newspapers, call your county legislator. They're the ones that are control this thing. Because folks, we all know that eventually many of us may be residents there. We may be the recipients of those services. So let's make sure, like Brian Higdon's saying, let's take care that we rebuild our own infrastructure for our own future, and that we have quality services for our folks if need be, and safeguard our seniors who, gosh, they're just a wealth of information and quite a treasure for our community. Reed, back to you.
Okay, thank you, John. Let us hope that the county home deal goes through properly for everybody concerned. I'm convinced they are selling it. I suddenly see ads on the newspaper, on television for this home. Now, who would advertise for a home that's already jam-packed and has a waiting list unless they're trying to pump up the vision of it, the image, to sell it for more? Hey, take a shot of that, Don. We got a great picture here for anybody who wants it. I want to thank the Westfield Development Corp, and I want to thank Joel Sechrist and Martha Bills, who are doing a bang-up job, among others, over there. And they get $20 donation for these shots, these pictures, and that's a hand-painted picture, a screening of a hand-painted picture, serigraph. But it is a beautiful shot. A lovely painting of the lighthouse, which is the first gas-lit lighthouse in these United States. Can you believe that? Right here in Barcelona and Westfield, New York. Aren't we lucky? And they used to portage over from Barcelona. It was a huge center. Westfield was called the Crossroads back then. And it's a huge center with a beautiful harbor. They bring their ships in, unload. They had a 1/5 of a mile long stone pier going out into the harbor. And they'd unload, bring the stuff in, take it and put it on mule carts and take it over to Chautauqua Lake. And then they would move it down Chautauqua Lake to the end. There's a river there, take that down. It led into the Ohio River, and that led into the Mississippi. And so they had the whole South. So all the north part of the United States could get their cargo to Westfield, and it would wind up down in New Orleans. Or even in Mexico, they could cross Panama and on the west coast. This was a key part of our world. The Portage Trail is still there, incidentally, where they used to come across. And the only question I always have, and nobody's fully answered it, is it's easy enough to come into Barcelona and you unload your stuff and take it on a cart over the hill with a mule cart. They had mule carts then and horses. But what do you do? Where's the boat come from in Chautauqua? You can't take a ship over to Chautauqua. I wouldn't think. Maybe they did somehow or the other get them to Chautauqua. Maybe they'd come apart. Who knows? Leslie's sitting here wondering how long I'm going to go talking on about everything in the world excepting her business, which is getting you into a nursing home. Okay, Leslie, welcome to the show. And
thank you, Reed.
I want to thank your better half for all the fine work he's done over all these years. not better half,
indeed.
better part, father, right?
Father, yes, indeed.
Mort Flexer, who is watching this show avidly, I'm sure, in his dreams. Leslie, you have an important role over there. What do you do at the, Leslie works at the Absolute. And this is not an infomercial for the Absolute or any other group. This is just basically general information on how to pick a place, how to fund a place, what to do with your dough before you go in, and a lot of other things that are very important to many seniors. You know, 1 out of 2 of us will be in a nursing home. Yeah, at some point or the other. 7 out of 10 go bankrupt because of this, because they have not taken care of their estates and their property, and they just go, they're bankrupt when they die. 7 out of 10 seniors is bankrupt at the end because of this long-term care, much of it. Leslie, tell us, what do you do over there?
I am the case manager, and I also do marketing, so I'm here. Case management involves going to the hospital. I cover the Erie territories. I go to all the Erie hospitals. Fortunately, Westfield Memorial Hospital has a contract with St. Vincent's. They do also send patients to Hammett if their doctors are there. I go to St. Vincent's, Hammett, Select Specialty, Health South, Mill Creek rarely, and the VA over there if necessary. And I screen the patients to see if they are a good fit for our facility. And if everything seems on the up and up and they need rehab, then I'm more than happy to present them to our administration, who make the decision, and then invite them over to do some rehab with us.
Okay, there you go. It's not easy to just walk in on Medicaid. I know that, because Medicaid pays less by far than private care. Private care, I understand, is by the time you're finished with a barber and the toenails and everything, it's about $100,000 a year, pretty close to it. They say 80 a minimum.
I would say at least between $80,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, and the Medicaid, it doesn't pay anywhere near that, and part of
not even close.
Part of the new program Congress has figured out to save money is cutting Medicaid to nursing homes 11% more, so that actually you're so far below, it's like the ambulance. You depend on the ambulance, and I guess it's STAR that does it when you need to move somebody over to the hospital or whatever. But they won't come because they don't get enough money. Medicaid doesn't pay them what private pay does. So they're not alert and fast to get there. And of course, we are very fortunate. We have a wonderful ambulance corps here. The Westfield
Yes, we
Fire
are very
Department.
lucky.
And they take care of a lot of these calls for us. This is the general thing you should know about nursing homes. Now, when you decide you're in need of a nursing home, who do you contact?
Well, a lot of the times there's different people that you can contact if you know of a friend or family members that have had experience with skilled nursing facilities. One of the best things, if you are not sure, Medicare, amongst other things, has got a website, of course, www.medicare.gov. And if you go down on the left side of the page on the computer screen, it will say comparisons. You can compare hospitals, you can compare nursing homes. And that is nationwide. And all you have to do is click which state, New York, of course, and then just click what county. If it's Chautauqua or whatever county you happen to be in, it will bring up all the nursing homes. And you will see how the Department of Health has rated them.
I'll insert, you probably wouldn't mention this, but you received the top rating in the state in,
Yes,
in
we did.
several categories.
Yes, indeed.
At Westfield's Absolute.
That's right.
Not any Absolute, Westfield's Absolute.
Yes, yes.
And,
we did better than practically any other skilled nursing facility in Western New York. That includes the Buffalo area, any area that's within our spot. We are the 5-star rated skilled nursing
Absolutely.
facility. So if you want the best, that's where to be.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I have to put that in.
We can thank Dave Reynolds.
Yes, we can.
among
He's
others.
amazing.
He is terrific.
He's
Does he
an excellent
does he still have
administrator.
those little dogs that run around?
Once in a while, he'll bring in Eli, the boy.
Eli.
Yes.
Okay, what happened to Eli?
Ruthie, she stays home with the babies.
Oh, okay. Oh, she has a family now?
No, but Dave does. He's
does.
got 2 little boys, and somebody's got to play with the dogs. So, yes,
Well, I
indeed.
remember that the patients would just glow with delight when they disappeared. They're dachshunds, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, long-haired dachshunds.